Live from Las Vegas, this is Wake Up with the Wagners.
Having the talk is never easy. We're not talking about the talk with your children. We're talking about the talk with your parents. And this is a talk that I had to have with my own father after my mom passed away. We had to talk about my dad not being able to care for himself. And we have a couple of experts here in the studio to talk about this with us this morning. There's Becky on the left, Angela White here on the right from BrightStar. And I know that as people are out and about with their families during the holiday season, sometimes this is the only time they'll have a chance to see their parents because they live in a different city. What are some of the warning signs that we need to look for to see if our parents can really care for themselves?
So this time of year, many people are traveling. They haven't seen their family since last year this time. And they go in and they've talked to mom or dad on the phone, Skype, FaceTime, and hey, everything's fine, everything's great, we're fine. And they get into the home and they go, ooh, maybe mom and dad aren't so fine.
So what do you look for, Angela, to see that your parents can't take care of themselves anymore?
Well, physically, obviously. When you look at them, do they look disheveled or do they look out of the ordinary from what, different from what you're used to seeing them look like? Are they clean? Do they look like that they need extra care to have assistance in the home? So physically, you're looking at that. Do they look like they've lost weight, gained weight? Are they sleeping well? One of those things. Then you want to look at the environment. If you're visiting them in their home, what does their house look like? Is it cluttered? Is it picked up? Are they taking their pills? A lot of people have pill organizers. Is it filled? Is it Monday and they've already taken pills through Friday? That's a sign that things are not going smoothly.
So the conversation is not easy. This is one that I had with my father in 2008 after my mother passed away, and so he was really on his own at that time. You can see pictures from the 1970s. That's the Wagners when we first moved to Los Angeles in 1971. This picture was so cool to my dad. He sent it out to everybody because we had a pool. And we came from the Seattle area, and nobody had a pool up there. So this is a conversation that I had with my father in 2008, but I was hoping you might be able to give us some tips, Becky, on this conversation that you have with your parents, and that we're not talking about putting them into homes necessarily. There are a lot of different options.
Yes. So first of all, you need to be empathetic. You need to sit down and you need to listen to them. So often we have our agenda going in, so we're predetermining what they're going to say, and you can't do that. You need to sit down and you need to listen to them what they're saying. Think about yourself in their position 30 years from now. Right now you're focusing on raising a family, you're thinking about your career. They were you 30 years ago.
Yep.
So you need to think about how that's going to feel when somebody's having that conversation with you. So take the time, hear what they're saying, truly get their opinion, and give them options. And we always say, don't have this conversation when you're in a crisis. Do planning before it becomes a crisis and something needs to get done that minute. There are many options. And, people, have this misconception now of a nursing home, and they think it's an awful place to be. And, we talk about, in-home care and people coming in, taking care of you. Oftentimes they say, 3 hours a day, 3 days a week can make all the difference.
Yes.
People think, oh, I need to have somebody move in with me and take care of me. That's not the case.
Right.
You talked about assisted living, and those are great. They're beautiful. I always say it's a cruise ship, when it comes to that point.
Yeah, for sure. Becky Torrez, Angela White here. Thanks for coming in from BrightStar. And Kim, you remember this conversation that we had with my dad, Gene. It was, does he move into the house with us? Does he go to an apartment on his own? Does he have someone come in the home and care for him there? There's a lot of options these days, but you got to slow play. You got to listen to your parents. You don't want to force them into anything that they don't want to be forced into.
Even though we were trying to really get him to move in with us, we wanted him to live with us, and he refused. He didn't want to be a burden, which it would not have been a burden, but that's how he looked at it. Becky, Angela, thank you. Great discussion.